All right, welcome to our quadratic review worksheet. If you haven't had a chance to do page one, why don't you pause this, work it out, and then you'll know what questions you have. And then press play and let's see kind of how you did on things. All right, so as you're looking through this, you either have really good questions or really big misconceptions, or you're going to have stuff that you know how to do and can be really excited about that. Standard form, there we go. The shape is a parabola. That line that you can fold the parabola in is called the axis of symmetry. The point that the parabola turns is called the vertex, and it's a coordinate. When the vertex is at its highest point, that means it's going like this, we call that a maximum. And what happens is your parabola points down and your a term ends up being negative. So you want to watch that. So a negative x squared and then the rest of it. So your a term is negative. When the vertex is at its lowest, like a hole in the ground, we call that a minimum. It's the bottom of the hole. It's the very bottom here. And that's when your parabola points up and your a term is a positive value. So you can start to see that in advance. Whoop, hello. There we go. Our solutions to a quadratic equation is going to be called a couple different things. I could ask you for the solution, I could ask you for the zeros, I could ask you for the roots. So when I ask for any one of these three things, what you really are giving me is the solution. So what is the solution? The solution is the x-intercepts. So when I ask for the roots, the zeros, or the solutions, you are going to give me the x-intercepts. Like for example, down here on this graph for number 9, the number of roots. So I'm asking for the number of solutions. Well, the number of solutions is 1 because it crosses the x-intercept right there. And the zeros is actually, where is it? So it's at 1, 2, 3. It's at 3. Now notice I'm not putting a coordinate down. I'm giving the x value, which is 3. So graph number 10, number of roots. If my solution is represented by the x-intercepts, this does not hit the x at all. So there are no roots. And for zeros, I'm not going to put down 0 down because that's actually a value. So I'm going to write down no solution. And that's what you would write down as well. And for number 11, this crosses the x in 2 places. So it's going to be right here and right here. So we would say there's 2 roots. And the zeros are going to be at -2 and 0. Number 12, why don't you go ahead and press pause and maybe fill this sheet out and then come on back and let's see how you did on them. There's my axis symmetry where it folds. It's at 1, 2, 3. My vertex is going to be right there where it turns, and we said it's at 3, -2. So that one is a coordinate. How many zeros are there? It crosses the x-axis twice at 2 and 4. The domain is going to be my x value, and for all these parabolas, it is all real numbers because you could put in anything for x. For the domain, it's the y value, but that happens right here. You're looking at the vertex, and I'm going to communicate where the vertex is. So this is going to be my parabola sits at where y is greater than or equal to -2. So it's everything above it, including 2. All right, if you didn't get a chance to do number 13, will you go ahead and do that now? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and find this. So axis of symmetry, it's the formula -b/2a, or opposite b term. So it's the opposite of the b, so it's 2, and it's doubling my orange, so it's 2/2, which is 1. So it's at 1. And when I graphed this earlier, I had to pay attention that this isn't 10 squares right here. There's more than 10, so I have to pay attention to that. So I'm going to plug in 1 just so that I can get my vertex. So 1 squared minus 2 plus 3, I end up with, where am I at? I end up with, I should be at -4. Yeah, -4. So my question is, where is my axis of symmetry? It's at 1. My vertex is at it's at 1, -4. So 1, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there's my vertex. And I can see from my a term, It's positive, so it's going to point up. So if it points up, it's going to have 2 zeros, and I still need to keep solving this one. All right, let me just keep going. The y-intercept is in my equation. It's right there. It's at -3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's right there. And I'm going to mirror it over on that side. So that's all set. So -3. My domain is all real numbers. And my range, I can actually already see it. It's right here. And it's actually showing up in my vertex. So my range is where y is greater than or equal to -4. All right. Because this is a parent graph, because my a term is 1, there's a pattern that comes with these graphs. And what happens is from my vertex, I can go over 1, up 1. Then my next one is over 1, up 3. Let me get rid of that dot. Oh, over 1, up 3. 1, 2, 3. And there's my next dot. Okay? And then I can reflect it. And I can go over 1, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over 1, up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can mirror it. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 up here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's right there. So there is my parabola right there. And there's a pattern you can use, and this works when your a term is 1 or -1. If it's -1, same pattern, but just upside down. Now, here's the pattern I'm talking about. We say from the vertex, we're over 1, up 1. And then it's over 1, up 3. Then it's over 1, up 5. And it's over 1, up 7. And the next one is probably over 1, up 9. And you can do that pattern to create your parabola. Now we can see it. Does it have a minimum or a maximum? It has a minimum. Identify the roots or the zeros or the solutions is what it's asking for. And it's at 2 and -2. Nope, that's not true. That's from, I'm looking at the line of symmetry, and that's not true. So it's right here. It's at -1. And then it's right here, 1, 2, 3. And that's at 3. So -1 and 3. Awesome. All right, I'm going to pause and have you do this page, and let's see how you do. All right, step 1, I found the axis of symmetry, -2. Step 2, I substituted in to find the vertex, which is at -2, 9. Step 3, I'm going to find the y-intercept, which is my c term, which is going to be at 5, 0. So I'm going to go, let's see, 5, 0. Yep, that's the spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that spot right there. Hey, wait a minute, something's fishy because of this. Look at my a term. My a term is negative, so this is going to point down, which means this parabola is pointing up. So this dot right here, my vertex should actually be up top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, that fits better. So that's my vertex is up here. So I got to adjust a couple things. So it's -2, +9. All right, no, I had the right coordinates. I just plotted it in the wrong spot. Okay, that fits because it's going to be -1. Now I mirror it, and it's over here. All right, set. All right, it's going to have 2 zeros. The domain is all real numbers. And the range is right here. It's at 9, so it's where y is less than or equal to 9. But I do need to get my x-intercepts. So I tried out, oh, you know what this is? Oh, okay. This is the a term is 1, so I get to use the pattern. Awesome. So over 1, up 1. Over 1, down 3. 1, 2, 3. Over 1, down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to mirror it. There is my parabola. And I get to see my x-intercept. Okay, so my 0 roots are going to be at, let's see, there's one at 1, which is right there. And then there's this guy right here, which is at, I'm going to make that go away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this has a maximum. Awesome. You try the next two, and then I'm going to post the answers, see what you think. A couple unique things about number 15 is that it does not cross the x-intercept. So for this guy, if I asked for the roots or the solutions, you would write there is no solution to this. No solution to this guy. And I noticed that my A term was 1, so I was able to use my pattern over 1 up 1, over 1 up 3, over 1 up 5. Love that pattern. Number 16, I'm going to pause it. You should too. Solve it out. All right, how'd you do? I'm at -1, 3 is my vertex. I can see that it's pointing down because the A term is negative. If it's pointing down, then I have a maximum. The y-intercept is my C term, which is 2. I can plot that in here. 1, 2 right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and plot my other points of a parabola because I see that my A term is a 1. I mean, it's -1, so it's going to point down, but it's 1. So over 1, down 1. Over 1, down 3. 1, 2, 3. Over 1, down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over 1, down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's over here. And then I'm just going to reflect those points. 3, 1, 2, 3. And this guy over here somewhere. And there is my parabola. Wow, that's got a little funky little curve to it. I did something, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty close. You guys do a good job, though. Make sure you get that nice and curving nicely. Yeah. Well, what do we got here? Ooh, dolphins. Sweet. Pause. Try it. Both answers ended up being 5 on this one. What a quinky dink. I know. Fancy! So I found where my axis symmetry is, so that is going to represent how far I went, and then I substituted in to find the height, which was also 5. Kind of crazy. All right, these ones should go pretty fast because we're looking for the roots, which is going to be the solution, so where it hits the x-axis. So this guy hits the x-axis. Why don't you try these out, and I'll give you the answers. Oop, there's the answers. Oh yeah, we crossed the x-axis. Next page. All right, you try these guys. All right, these are the roots or the zeros or the solutions. So that one's going to be number 3, number 3, number 2, and number 2. All right, what we got on the last page? All right, we got some more graphing to do. Sweet bucket of lava. All right, you work it out. Get your axis of symmetry. Notice there's an A term, so you can use your pattern. Its A term is 2, so you are going to have to substitute in and get a few answers. So why don't you work number 7 and number 9, and then check on your answers. All right, let's take a look at these. Number 7, I found my vertex, and I saw that my A term was 1, so I was able to use my graph. And I got myself a parabola. Yeah, and it does have 2 solutions, and the solution is at 3 and -1. Nice. The second one for number 9. A couple things is my A term is 2, so I have to work this out a little bit. What I did is I found the vertex at 1, -8. I used my y-intercept of -6 and reflected it. And then I plugged in 3 in the solution because that made sense. That was my next thing because I've done 1, I've done 2, now I'm going to do 3. And I found out that was at 0, plotted that, and I was able to get the direction of my parabola, and also found my solutions. My solutions being -1 and 3. All right, I've got an 8 and a 10. Why don't you press pause and try that out? My group is full of students. They're staring at me at the board here working on this. These guys are creepy. Stop talking to me.